Alright, here we are today at Misty Mountain Camp Resort, just outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm going to give you a quick little camp tour. When you come in, you can see that SUV up there that he's loading the logs into. There's a stop sign just in front of it. That's where you would stop to check in. On the right side here, these are the check-in buildings. But before we do that, we're going to go straight up over here. First little loop. You can see on their map, first loop includes horseshoes, a pool. It's also got a turnaround. It's where the dump station and the bathhouses are for the front. So that's where we're going to walk up here and check that out. They've also got volleyball, which you can see here on the right. There is a community fire pit here on the left as well. Now we just stayed here for Easter weekend. All of these golf carts you see on the right were all rented out. Very popular thing to do here. I believe you can also bring your own golf carts. They have horseshoes. Now this building on my left is labeled bunkhouse as well. So I believe it has the bunkhouses, the restrooms, all the things inside of it. The carts you see over here on the right, they use for hay rides for the kids. And they've also got the laundry up here. We'll go check out the laundry for you. Whoop. They've got a code to get in, which I already forgot what it is because I don't use the laundry. Same code as probably for the bathhouses. It is, so you have to use your imagination. Here is the RV spot from up here. We're going to walk over here. These ones right in front, they have the VIP spots. Those are all the pull-throughs, which I'll show you. And then there's a little creek over there you can walk through. The jump pad is probably the largest one we've ever seen, and it's actually covered. And at night, they have lights inside the cover. And they've got two different playgrounds over here, as well as an additional community fireplace. So we'll sneak back down there. Now, I say this is near Charlottesville, Virginia. That's where we came to visit, was to stay here and visit in Charlottesville. It's also very close to a town I believe is pronounced Crozet. It's also right off of the Blue Ridge Parkway and the Shenandoah National Forest. So we did some of the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's a tunnel on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I believe it's almost like a 1.5 mile long old railroad tunnel that's been converted into a walking path. So you can check that out. It's really cool because you can see both sides of it when you're in there, but in the center it's completely dark. You can see here on the right, they have the pool. It's still very early spring, so the pool's not uncovered for us just yet. Over here on the left where you see the large white Dodge, that's some overflow parking. This weekend, the place was at 100% capacity for Easter, so the overflow parking was definitely being used. Now, I'm sure you can hear the cars and see them here on the freeway. If you are sensitive to that noise, then I would suggest you avoid this first row or maybe two. But first, we're going to walk down those rows so you can see what the sites look like and see the site numbers. According to the map, right here on the left, we're starting with sites 25B, then 25, 24, 23, 22, and such. So on our left, 25. And then our sites on the right are 17, 18, 19, and 20. So if the sound is not a problem for you, they're plenty deep for probably any size rig on the first side. On this side, they're actually pull-throughs, which again also look plenty big. We've got a 45-foot rig. I'm sure we could fit it in there as well. Now this first loop when we came in is on the left as you pull in. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rows to park into. So we'll just do a lap around the side, around the perimeter of it so you can see it. On our left here too is one of their cabins. At the very top of this park, you go up a hill and there's some additional cabins up there. There's also tent camping up there, which is pretty cool. Now, all 4 of these rows look like they're all roughly the same size. A few of the spots do look smaller, so we've got that travel trailer there with an expedition, so even that's not a small spot at all. This one over here, the folks are hanging out in is number 4. They've got a nice spot right next to the little river here. Now again, it's April 1st for us here. The river is running nice. I assume it's rainwater runoff because there's not too many snowy mountains that I see. So I don't know how that flows in the summer when you're here. But if you want a nice spot on the river there, that's sites 4, 3, 2, and 1 on my left. Now as we come forward here, this is the other side of the big park area. They've got quite a large grassy area. The kids play football, frisbee, all those types of things. You can also see here on the right they have a stage set up. There's a gentleman that's been playing live music for us every Saturday, and then you get another view of the community fire area. This building here is also the rec center. Inside there they've got pool tables, TV, some other things like that. A fairly large area there. When it was raining, that's where the kids were definitely hanging out. Moving back through here, these sites that directly look over the play area are what they call, I believe, the VIP sites. They're labeled on the map as 110 through 101. When you go on their website, though, I believe they were labeled VIP. So like 110 is actually VIP 10. I'm not sure what makes them VIP. They're maybe slightly wider than the other ones, but if you have a very large rig like this one here and you want to pull through and not have to unhook, you can have it. Or if you have a more moderate sized rig like this one here and you just want a ton of space, VIP is perfect for you. More view of these kids over here. Tons of jumping area. Like I said, the 2 playgrounds. This area over here was where they were playing touch football and a nice little game of frisbee. At the end of the VIP sites here, they have some smaller, I believe, water and electric only sites. So directly in front of me, we saw both tenders and smaller travel trailers in this row right here in front. And then over here on the right, there's a few more that go up along the gate. So over here, we're looking at sites number, what are these ones here? Sites number 45 through 42 on the right, and then 41 through 36 over here on the left. 36 being on the end. Actually, no. Now, as we come back over here, we can see that the Little River does start back over here as well. So this is site number 35 we're walking directly onto. This site had a fairly large travel trailer, but you'll see it's only water and electric. That's fine with you, but you want to back up directly to the river. Perfect spot for you. Now, it hasn't been super warm here for us for our stay, but that didn't stop the kids from getting directly into the river. Yeah, see, the VIP sites are labeled V1, V2, all the way up through V10 on their website. you'll order them that way. On the actual map they give you, they're labeled sites 100 through 110. All of these ones that back up to the lake here, or to the river here, are water and electric. They're not tiny though. We've got probably a 19-foot Airstream there. Looks like maybe a 20-foot Winnebago here. Plenty of room. Mini light, just like my father's. So he could have visited us here, would have had plenty of space there. All these back up directly there to the lake, or to the river. You'll see they've got a little bridge here that takes you to the upper part of this campground. Doesn't look like much, but I've seen very large rigs going over this this bridge here. I don't know if it's rated for a 50,000 pound Class A, but there was definitely 43-foot fifth wheels and the 1-ton trucks that took to get over it there. These last couple sites here are tent sites, also backing up to the river. Site number 26 is right there, kind of the oddball site, but it's got the most river access there, if that's important to you. These are all tent setups here, labeled with the T1 through, I believe, oh, there's quite a few. I'm not sure how many tent areas it says. Over here we've got the little fishing lake. My kids took advantage of that while we were here. There's a trail that takes you up along here and drops you off over yonder as well. Again, it's not summertime, so I don't know if you're swimming there in the summer or what, or if it's just for fishing. Now on these tent sites, people were just putting their cars either directly parked right here or backing them up a little bit, and then they're setting their tents up along here. Probably goes up to T5. I see T6 in the back, so probably half a dozen of them. Then they have their little Misty Mountain mining company at the front. You can get your miner's kit, and the kids can go in there and sift through it and see what treasures they may or may not have found. Also, if you're staying here and you want your exercise, this is a nice little walk. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but this is going uphill. We're going to end up over here on this hill to show you the RV sites. On the left, there's some additional tent camping in a more primitive area. Now, in choosing this area, I told you we were here for Charlottesville, but there also ended up being quite a bit of wineries over here. So we visited a few. I'm trying to remember which one was nicest. The King Family Winery was pretty nice, and they were very kid-friendly there. Also apparently pet-friendly. So we saw families with kids, others with dogs on the weekend, both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So all three of those, I believe, they had food trucks there. We went there on Saturday. There's a few hundred people there. Everybody was enjoying themselves. They have a very large lawn in the back, so you can do wine tastings, hang out on the lawn, get food from the food truck. They were also allowing outside food while we were there too, so lots of people set up for picnics. You'll notice too, being here at this time of year, not too much foliage on the trees, so we didn't do a ton of hiking, because when you were hiking down the pass and all of the trails started to look the same because all the trees are devoid of foliage, but they are dense enough that they obstruct most of the views. And of course the big draw over here is Thomas Jefferson's old plantation. So spend a day going down there. Pick a nice weather day to do that. If it was raining, probably wouldn't be the greatest tour over there, because you're really just looking at his grounds primarily. You can visit the house, but the house is a fairly quick visit. I turned left first, so I'm going to show you some of the primitive camping that's set up over here. So if you want to be in a tent, but you don't want to be directly next to somebody in a Class A, this is where you'd go. They call it Misty Meadow in the backcountry camping. So there's quite a few of them up here. I'm not going to go through all of them. The first one is set up right here on our right, and you get an idea. You get a little flat spot. You get a bench. Looks like a little table. That's BC1. I'm going to take you to the top, just high enough to see they have a little grass area set up here. That's their meadow. There's also a little trail that goes the perimeter up here if you wanted to take younger ones on a hike without having to go drive somewhere. I think my wife and I did that and got in about a mile, so it's not a super short one. Doesn't look like anybody's staying in the meadow today, so you'll get a good view of it. And here you go, the Misty Mountain Meadow. They've got tables, they've got chairs. Maybe that's an outhouse? I'm not going to check for you. I'm going to leave that up to you. We're going to head back and see the last section of this RV park. Now, another fun thing that we've seen down here has been the peach orchards. I'm calling them peach orchards because that seemed to be what my wife was calling them. When we went there, they seemed to be pretty much everything orchards. Each one of them, depending on the season, was growing apples, peaches, as well as was operating as a vineyard, among other things. So right now I don't believe anything is technically in season. So we ate some apple flavored donuts. We had apple cider, purchased canned peaches, these types of things. During the summer proper and the growing season, especially the end of growing season, I'm sure it's got to be nice to be over here and have all that fresh produce. We also took the time over the weekend to go visit the University of Virginia campus, which I believe was designed by Thomas Jefferson himself. Beautiful campus. So if you want to try to visit that, I would definitely encourage you to do it over the weekend. That way you're not impeding with the students, because I definitely saw that we had tons of access to things that I was surprised we had access to, but I assume that's because it was a weekend. If there was class in session, I assume those things would be much more difficult to have access to. Spent a couple hours, walked around the campus, also the downtown area that is closest to the campus. I found it to be the nicest of the downtown areas. We explored a few of them. There's also a downtown mall area. They have a name for it, I forget, but you can Google it. It's a relatively large, big open area where they have one of the streets that is no longer car friendly down the center, so it's just pedestrians. That area was nice. The area by the school was a little bit nicer. We also found that their shopping areas were, I believe, just north of that, where you would run into the Whole Foods, the Trader Joe's, those types of things. Now as we go up the last section of hills, we've got some cabins on our left, cabins 1 and cabins 2. And then when we get to the top of this, you'll see there's tent camping, additional cabins, as well as RV parking. If I'm breathing hard, it's because this is an actual climb. Watching the gentleman pull in with his giant momentum fifth wheel, he definitely made sure to keep his momentum going, because it is fairly steep. But once he was up here, there was plenty of room, so no worries. Tent camping on the right, a few spots. The neat thing about being up here is the gorgeous view down on the rest of the campers. On our left is the RV parking. I assume that if you were doing a longer term stay, or a monthly, or a seasonal here, if that's allowed, I assume it's over here, because these folks have been here the entire time. Does not seem to be as transient as down below. More tents, tent sites. They are right up on the edge, so they have a beautiful view looking down. RV park all the way on 53 would roll in, has its own little raised deck. Really nice. They're nice enough to let you know no RVs this way. It's not that they don't want you this way, it's that after this it gets a little tight and you wouldn't want to be trying to turn around with an RV over here, even though there is one more RV site, number 47, right here. Now, you can see the cabins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cabins over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so down in this area. Last RV spot, number 46, so you can orient yourself on the map. This is cabin number 8 to orient yourself on the map. And I'm going to walk over here to 46B and show you the RV park from above. And that will conclude our tour of Misty Mountain Campground. So, like I said, this is 46B. It has its own little walkout deck. We saw a family set up a cute little tent out here with a little van, and it was a perfect setup. So, and from up here you have a view of everything. So, that's Misty Mountain. Enjoy!